Yeah, detachment for sure. Yeah, like if a monk is attached to a substance, then of course that will hinder them from the perception of not self. But that would not be only about alcohol or cigarettes, you know. If a monk is attached to fried cheese or pizza, you know, then then that's the same thing. Yeah, because any attachment to sensual pleasures is attachment to this world. And what is this world? Seeing, hearing, smelling, tasting, touching, and thinking. That's the world. So any attachment to these six is a hindrance on the path. So they need to be overcome. But there is a different facet, you know, to this problem, because the scriptures also suggest that a healthy diet is needed for progress. And but that's a commentary, not directly from the Buddha. What we also can read from a commentary is an interesting story about monks who went to a forest, and they had to meditate there, and then they decided to be, you know, like silent and meditate in silence and work hard to become enlightened. And that was during the 3 months of the so-called rains retreat. And a lady came to the forest, she saw these monks, and she said, "Oh, venerable monks, I want to support you during these 3 months. Please stay here and I'll care for you." So they were staying there, they were silent, you know, and they made a decision that there will be a bell somewhere, you know, at the entrance to the monastery, and they will all stay in their own rooms silently meditating, and if somebody is sick or has a problem, they need to go and beat the bell. If somebody beats the bell, they will all come and gather. So one day this lady, the supporter, she came to the monastery and she saw nobody. She saw nobody and she thought, how can this happen? I see nobody, you know, it's all silent. So she thought maybe these monks are angry with each other, because then they would not talk with each other and stay in their rooms. But then she saw that everything is nicely swept and clean, so she came to the conclusion certainly they cannot be angry with each other. Then a helper, an assistant close by, was nearby, so she asked him, "Hey, where are the monks?" And he says, "Well, they're in their rooms. If you want to call them, just beat this bell and they will all come and gather." So she beat the bell, you know, and all the monks were like curious, "Hey, what happened? What happened? Who's sick? You know, what's the danger?" And then they found that this lady came, and the lady asked them, "Hey, monks, what are you doing?" And the monk said, "We are meditating." And the lady says, "Well, what's this? What's this to meditate?" And she says, and they say, "Well, we meditate on the impurity of this body. We observe how all of these parts of this body are impermanent, unsatisfactory, and not self. Like the hair, body hair, skin, bones, flesh, teeth, and so on and so on." And she says, "Well, I also want to try it out. Tell me how to do it." So they explained to her how to meditate on the impurity of the body. So she was so enthusiastic. She returned to her home and she started to meditate. Within a few days, she attained the 3rd level of enlightenment. There are 4. With the 3rd level of enlightenment, she spontaneously gained psychic powers. She gained the power of knowing the another person's mind. Telepathy. And then she was thinking, now she attained this 3rd level of enlightenment, then what about the monks? Did they attain any enlightenment? So by her power of telepathy, she checked the monks. And she found out that none of the monks attained any enlightenment. And she thought, None of the monks attained any enlightenment. Could I help in any way? And then she found out that the monks do not get the food that they want to eat. So she watched their mind, and whenever they had a thought about food that they want to eat, she would prepare that food for the next day. Then one monk thought, okay, so what about if I have, they didn't know anything, of course. And one monk had the idea, hey, what about if I have tomorrow, whatever, morning glory. And the lady would know that he wants to eat morning glory, so next day she would prepare for him the vegetable morning glory. Or whatever, it's a plant. And then he thought, hey, that's interesting. I thought that I want to have morning glory yesterday. Now I have morning glory. Now what about tomorrow I want to have mango? What about if I have a mango tomorrow? And the next day again he got mango. And I was thinking, hey, that's weird. That's weird. There's something wrong. And he got scared. He thought, oh no. Now, if this lady can know what I'm thinking about, then she certainly can know all my lustful thoughts and my angry thoughts, and that's my destruction. So he scampered away. He ran away and informed the Buddha, oh Buddha, in that forest, this woman, she knows what I think about. I cannot stay there anymore. Tell me another place to meditate. And the Buddha says, well, there is no better place. This is the best place for you. Go back. So the monk had to return. And like this, the monks, they received the food that they wanted to eat. And at the end of the rains retreat, all of them became fully enlightened. So it's not that simple, being satisfied with food and creating greed on food, I believe, are two different things. So I would like to suggest that yogis are satisfied with their food, and that's what I try for in our center. But it depends on the person, like even if you get the best food in the world, still even if you do not have any greed because you get everything what you would ever dream of, for your meal, every day, even more than that, still the greed and craving will arise for something else. Or the mind will create ideas, like, hey, what about if we have this other meal or another meal? And what about if here is also honey, into this, and a little bit more salt, and also cinnamon, and So if the mind starts to create this kind of nonsense, then of course it will be difficult to become detached from the food. But if the yogi can, detach themselves and be satisfied and be more enthusiastic about their concentration and their insight, then it is easier. So yes, regarding the alcohol and cigarettes and the substances, it's for alcohol, of course, the problem is that the person loses mindfulness. So from the beginning till the end, it's destruction. It's the destruction of the progress. But for food, for sweet food, for sour food, for spicy food, and so on, it should not be that kind of problem. The person needs to learn that they have to be satisfied with little. And what I have also created in our center, that we are connected to, we are basically part of a monastery, and the chief monk of the monastery is behind a large humanitarian project where he provides poor children with education for free. So they have accommodation for free, food for free, education for free, everything is for free. They just come and learn until they get their degree. And whatever remains from our food is coming for the children. So because we have abundance, there is a lot that remains for the children. And so the yogis, are always encouraged, to let go of the sweet things, of the tasty things. So I think that this is a nice opportunity to train oneself in letting go also. But no alcoholic substance, including semi or non-alcoholic substance, is allowed.